going on? I'm here with Molly Elfman and Derek Bishé. That's right? That's correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. And I just saw a beautiful film. It tugged on my heartstrings and made me laugh. And I do enjoy laughing and crying simultaneously, so thanks for that. This movie was made at a time, in a strange time in human history. Very fortunately, it's about bonding through trauma. So please tell me about please tell the audience about how this film came to fruition. And, the bondness I see between the two of you.
I'm trying to think about. I mean, should I take this or do you hold this?
If you want to.
I don't know. I felt
Be my guest. I don't know.
I'm trying to think. I mean, honestly, it was years of trying to figure out what this story was, of honing it in, of starting with just ideas and concepts and poetry and just being very earnest about what I wanted to do and then finding a way to put it together. I wrote it in order. And it went from one scene to the next, so it wasn't like I had an idea of like what it was. I knew where I wanted to end, and I knew where I wanted to start, and I knew I wanted it to be a road trip. And then I just put together those pieces. And the rest of it is honestly kind of just my experience of going through tragedy. I hate depicting depression or tragedy as, oh, and like sad, because that's not what it is. Sometimes it's fucking high, sometimes it's exciting, sometimes it's fucking everything, right? And so I just wanted, I'm sorry, am I allowed to swear?
Fuck yes.
Okay, wasn't sure. I'm like, yeah, and so just wanting to honestly depict that because that was my experience with kind of going through tragedy in my life.
And, sir, a lot of my favorite independent movies are shot in a convenience store and they don't go many other places. This is a road trip movie and you cover a lot of ground, both figuratively and literally. Please tell me about having to put together this very ambitious project.
Well, Molly pitched me that we would start in New York and shoot the entire thing driving all the way across the country. So we don't actually... We started in Kansas City. So this is the compromise version of it.
Yeah.
The easy version where we only drove across 2/3 of the country.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was indie filmmaking at its best. Molly and I drove by ourselves to New Mexico and knocked on doors and met all of the people and heard all of the stories of every single location we shot in.
Yeah.
We knew the first names of the people who owned them and usually their parents' names by the time we were done with the
Actually,
scout.
way too much about most of their lives.
Yeah.
We just went to motels and we just ended up talking to people, and that's how we got all the motels. It wasn't anything fancy.
Yeah, and then Kansas City, we found a great producer there who worked as our location scout and found us those locations, and we showed up in Kansas City having never physically been to any of those places before the day that we shot in them. So it was part improv, part indie filmmaking, just figuring it out.
Yeah, thank you, Layla in New Mexico, for tech scouting for us virtually. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. And Michelle in Kansas City.
As a seasoned drinker, I thought that the drinking in this movie and the hangovers were depicted very realistically. Was there, sometimes when you look at movies and TV, you see the acting. I thought this was almost like a documentary. I couldn't see the acting because the performances were so good. Can you just tell the audience a little bit about your two leads and, the process of casting them and, the end result, because it was so beautiful and I couldn't imagine anybody else in these characters.
I mean, Katie Parker and Rahul Kohli were amazing. They're my dream come true. Both of them are very different. Katie they have two different processes. They come to it in different ways and they complement one another. And the thing that I can say is they both gave a lot to one another. They were always there. They were always supportive of the other person. Even if they weren't the same, they were going to be there for the other person in that journey. And I think because we were all literally on the road together and literally kind of freezing our asses off together and eating shit food together, I think you really genuinely do bond. And again, I wanted it to feel real. I didn't want it to feel like a movie or staged. And that was the goal because it came from a very real place. But both of them just brought it. And I know it's funny because everybody keeps talking about the improv. And I'm like, there is a couple of moments, but really it's them knowing how to bring a script to life and make it that natural.
Well, same thing with the show The Office. Everybody assumed everything's improv, but no, it's just a really good actor can take a written scene and make it seem like it's improv, because that's what acting's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I can't keep you here all night.
No,
Thank you.
food.
I know, but thank you so much for giving us your time. But, however, what is the next exit for Next Exit. It's Fantasia Film Festival, and everyone knows Fantasia Film Festival is the place to be.
It's the best festival.
But there's a future for this film. Can you tell people who are watching at home where the heck can they eventually see it?
Well, hopefully we'll have more information on that soon. It will be at Fright Fest, and I think what is the
And
other?
in
Oh,
North Bend,
Yeah.
North Bend.
North Bend, Seattle
Molly's
is
getting
where.
an award for
get an
her
award.
surrealism in North Bend.
Hey,
And
look
yeah,
at
Fright
me.
Fest, and then we'll have other announcements
Yeah,
soon on.
I mean, literally very soon you'll be able to tell people, but yeah, or still
you will be able to see it.
you'll be able to see it. And
Awesome. And just a closing statement. My dad is a well-known martial artist, and I can't fight at all. And I really appreciate the fact you do your own thing, man, and you do it great.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Gigantic show.